are only two guys between you and a beard, so this makes us like an obstacle, so let's clear it out. Welcome to the session, how to become a CTO, architect, consultant, whatever. So as it says, no bullshit session about things we have done and you don't want to hear. Just a warning, it's biased, opinionated, it's completely subjective. If you are CTO, whatever, you might have a different opinions, but those are ours and confirmed with some of our peers. Yeah. Short agenda. First, we will talk about what we are going to talk about. So, what is tech leadership? What kind of work you might do there? Then we have some lessons learned and unlearned from our experience. Some good, bad, and ugly, and in the end, if somebody will bring the beer and the pizza, so we can do Ask Us Anything session. First question is why you should listen to those dudes, because apparently having sleeves up is the only qualification here to be on a stage.
Tomek, the honest answer is because I've accepted our CFP.
He was actually, that's true.
That's the only answer, sorry.
If you don't know
this
me,
is my fault. This is my fault. Go ahead, please.
Tomek Onyszko, I'm a CTO of a company called Predica. So my qualification is that I'm doing this for a too long time, since 1992, as a consultant and a couple of other roles. I founded the company. I kind of exited it because it's sold, but I'm still doing it. If you want to read more about me, you can find all under these links, or just Google me. It's easy to find for 20 years plus.
So this is how I looked when I was 16 kilos less, but you know already that. I was, can I take it over? I was in a consultant. I treat myself as a consultant for like last 18 years. I've been working with cloud since 2013, but if you remember cloud in 2013, it was simpler to learn.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. Anyway, I worked in a number of roles. I was an architect, pre-sales architect, consultant. I was a head of consulting. I was a CEO, not a very good one. Sorry, I failed. But yes, sometimes you have to take the leadership even if you are not prepared for that. Right now, I'm doing the role which is called country engineering lead. Let's say honest, this title is rubbish a bit. I'm just a program manager at Microsoft, and our team, what is doing is expanding the regions all over the world. So this is what we are doing for living. And if you want to, keep a contact, this is my alias on LinkedIn and Twitter. So yeah, it's easy. Anyway, let's be honest. Do you really want to be a leader? Well, that's a very honest question. That's a very honest question if you really want to become a tech leader. And there is no good answer, but I would say the reality is you have to always pick one path or the other. So yes, you may take this role, or you may say no. I still prefer to be someone who's not tech leader, who's contributing, who's an individual contributor, who is engineer, and this is still fine. This is still fine. But if you say to yourself, I want to try. Yes, I think I have all the competences to be a tech leader, and you still think you will be better than your boss, which all of us do, right? Then you may to think what the technical leadership is and why you want to, pursue it into that position. So let's first try to define this technical leadership through examples, and let's dive in. So the first question is, okay, maybe someone is a tech leader, so maybe I'll look at him, see what he does, what he don't do, and then it will be, this will for us will be like a template to replicate, to develop yourself. By the way, it doesn't work that way, but let's try. Okay, couple of tech leaders you may know. Any one of you know some of those guys? Do you recognize them? Okay. So just to name a few, this one, anyone? Troy Hunt. This one, Scott Councilman. Okay, Mark Rusinovich, and this one, in the middle. Casey Hightower, yeah, one of the creators of Kubernetes. How about this one? It's more tricky. Okay, it was easy.
That's local guy.
Yeah, yes. Okay, what we know about them? Are they CEOs? Are they business people? Are they oriented on sales, marketing? No. Are they still leaders, and do they still do technical things? Yes. But what's changed in their behavior to become one of those? So we have to think about three things. We'll dive more deeper during the conversation, but first of all, they have an impact, and they don't have the impact only on their team. They have the impact across. So it's not the job of Mark Rosinovich only to say how the Azure infrastructure will look like. His impact on the whole organization as Microsoft is huge. He's defining the way we are developing software. And it's not that easy to have the impact on 70,000 engineers with a huge ego sitting somewhere there in Redmond, because all of them think that they are wiser than he is. And this is fuckingly true. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't say that, right? Okay, yeah, we'll do something with that. They assume leadership. So they know where to take on this leadership. They know where to take over. They know when they can lead some projects which are not at their level, but they are beyond their scope. So this is what happens with them. They are taking a bigger scope than their title says they will do. And the last part is the crucial one. They help to develop the business. They help to develop the solutions which are developing business. They have such an impact on the companies that it helps those companies to grow. And of course, they develop people, because being a leader is by developing others. If you develop only yourself, you are not a leader. Go ahead, Tomek.
Okay. So, the common assumption is that you know tech. But actually, if you want to be a tech leader, you will not be the smartest person in the room. And the tech leaders are actually, however it sounds, it's not about you doing a technology or having the best, being the best builder or tech guy. And it's a common in startups that, you know, when the startup forms, there's 3 roles to be selected. Somebody has to be CEO, somebody has to do sales, and somebody has to be a CTO. And typically, the most geeky guy in the room is getting a CTO. That's why I have a job at my company, basically.
You still have a job.
Yeah, I still have a job because of that. But being a tech leader is not about being the best technical guy in the room, because there are other skills you need to learn. And those skills are more important, actually, to pushing business forward than being a tech guy. So basically, what are those skills? It's working with people. That's actually the most crucial. In the tech leadership role, or any kind of leadership, you will actually have to work with people. And don't use the word, but it's hard. I mean, people are hard, sorry, but that's the truth. It's a question about collaboration, because what you will have to do, you will have to collaborate with the people outside of your company and inside in your company without actual authority. So you will have to do stuff with the people who don't have to listen to you and convince them to basically do whatever you want to do. You have to learn how to socialize ideas. So basically, you have an idea to do what you want to do or what is good for a business, and then you need to convince others without authority how to do it. And basically, you need to bring clarity. So this means you need to convince people why you're doing it, and that's the right way to do. So basically, that's a quote from Jeffrey Snower, who was still is the father of the PowerShell. But right now, he is actually SRE at Google.
Yes.
So he quit Microsoft. But he said, people who are pushing the business forward are compensated on the cost of people who are not. And basically, as a tech leader, your role actually is pushing business forward. It's not toying with the technology, checking the new latest, greatest, whatever. It's actually pushing business forward. And the main reason to want to become a tech leader is that actually you might have an impact. And you will have an impact on a company, what you are doing, what the business is delivering, but this impact is not in a tech. It's in all other things, which includes technology. So let's talk what to do if you want to become one.
So let's assume you want to be one. We don't recommend that path. I'm just kidding, sorry. No, but if you really want to be one of those, let's ask ourselves what are the reasons for you to be one? What do you think that tech leader is all about? Maybe you have this ambition, and this is your goal. Okay, fine. Maybe you're thinking about money. I don't know.
Not the reason.
I don't know if this is a good reason, but yes, for some people, maybe. Okay, maybe you want prestige. Yeah, it's so cool, super cool that Tomek comes in and say, I'm a CTO of Predica. How that sounds, right, Tomek?
Yeah.
It brings a lot of, So maybe you want some prestige. Some people want some prestige. Some people want to be, on the front line. Some people want to be those who are important by their role. Maybe you want to have an impact. So you don't think much about the money. You don't think about the prestige. But you want to know that the thing you've been working for so long and impacted lots of people in your org has actually changed the way you deliver the business outside. So maybe you want to work on things which are cross-company, because this is what leaders do very often. Maybe you want to have a visibility, so you want to be known by other people, because if you are known, lots of people would like to work with you, maybe. Maybe this is an assumption, and there are lots of those. And the quick question for you is, which of those you think are wrong motivation? Money? All of them? Okay. So first thing which will change in the way you work is how you think about your development. And I'm not talking only about your technical development. I'm talking about your development at all. And, if you want to lead people, it's easy to debug the code. It's no super easy to debug people, right? It's not easy to debug people. So you have to change the way you develop yourself. You have to have your strong competences in some areas, like, I don't know, okay, you understand cloud, great. You understand IT infrastructure, great. But you still have to know about lots of things which are around. Because as the technology leader, you may get different questions, you may get different responsibilities where you have to have the opinion. And to have the opinion, you not only have to have the opinion about the technology, you have to have the opinion about the other things.
Yeah, so basically, if you want to be a tech leadership, so you need to become, as it's called, double deep professional, because it is assumed by others that you will know about technology. So when you start this job, typically you're coming from IT background or developer, I don't know, system administrator, whatever, and then you are lacking in different skills. And actually, what is expected is that you will still know technology, you will capture the trends, you will understand what is going, you will make those decisions, but on the other hand, you will start to work with the business. You will understand your business, like how you are making money. That's a very good question to know, like how your company is actually making money, what contributes to that. You will be expected to train other people. You will be expected to explain business and connection with the technology to totally not technical people. I have to explain it to my HR because I need to explain to them what kind of people we need to bring on board. Why do we need this kind of a role? You have to figure out what kind of the roles you need, and people will ask you, like, do we need architects? And then what kind of the architects? You basically need to work more on those business skills because typically your IT skills is something you already have. And the thing is that those skills will be different, depends on the industry and organization you are working with. I was speaking yesterday with somebody, and we were comparing how different is the world of the startups and enterprises. And if you're a CTO or VP of engineering in a startup, you're doing a completely different job than somebody who is VP of engineering in a 50,000 people company. And those people, believe me, are doing a completely different job. They need completely different set of skills. And actually, both need to understand the industry they are in, because each industry will also have a different impact, and basically, you will have to understand the different things. Like in finance, you need the regulations.
If you're interested what the VP of engineering does at the company of size of Microsoft, my boss said it very clearly. He can hire people, he can fire people, and he can inspire people. That's it. At the end of the day, he can see the finances. But managing 70,000 of people is very, very different job that you have in a startup. Okay, so we tried to define something about technical leadership. Probably we were not super specific, but we've said in the description of the session, let's go through different roles. Let's see what's good and bad about them. So let's go through the roles. Consultant. My honest opinion, lots of people on LinkedIn have a consultant in their position, and they have no clue what the consulting means. But this is my opinion, and you don't have to follow. Come on.
It's honest.
Sorry?
It's honest opinion.
It's always an opinion, but this is my opinion. So if you go to the Oxford Dictionary of British English, you will find that the consultant, what it does, is a person who provides a professional or expert advice at the particular field of science, technology, business, whatever, to the organization or to individual. The thing is, If you are great in technology and you don't understand the business of the company with whom you're talking to and you try to be consultant, you will fail. Sorry. That's the honest thing. We said it will be no bullshit session. So if you really want to think about yourself as a consultant, you have to understand the business of your customers. You need to understand customers of your customers. And then, as I said, design back from the problem to the technology what those company needs. And this is super, super important, especially when you work with different types of companies. Okay, let's move on. We don't have that much time. Architect. Is architect a consultant? No, it's someone else. It's a different profession. It's someone who do the design. It's someone who thinks about the solution and the services. Does he have to have the business knowledge? Yes. He still has to understand the business. He still has to understand the background of the architecture of the person, but he still needs to understand lots of the things and think how to generate the best results to the business. So what is the difference? They are working at different levels. They are working with different things, and the outcome of their job is a bit different. They can work together, but they are different roles, in a sense. Other roles, VP of Engineering. CTO, sorry.
CTO. So I borrowed this phrase, but CTO is the most undefined job in this industry. So basically, if you will ask any CTO what they are doing, typically they don't know, including me. But basically, a CTO is the role which is not directly engineering. CTO is the role which basically defines what the business needs to do with the technology and how the business needs to align with the technology to achieve its objective. And depends on the industry and the company you're working in, that will be a different job. For me, it is saying what we are going to do on the market as a services, what technologies we are picking, what technologies we are not touching, like, for example, Java.
Web 3.0,
no
blockchain.
Offense, yeah. But basically, that's the job of a CTO. The job of a CTO is to define what kind of a technology and where technology can impact a business. Of course, if you are a CTO in a startup, typically you're coding. But then when the startup will grow, actually your job is changing. And we did an interview with the CTO of Booksy, and he said, my job is basically hiring people and building a teams, nothing more. Yeah?
Exactly.
Then we have a VP or head of engineering, because those names are different. And head of engineering has to make reality of what CTO will figure it out. I mean, if CTO will say we are doing this, so this guy needs to assemble the teams, make sure that they are delivering, that they are maintaining the platform. So actually, head of engineering is typically much different job because it's very technology focused, and it is working with the engineers and the teams, where CTOs, in a big organizations, typically they have something called Office of CTO, which is a bit of like travel office, to be honest, because you are traveling from conference to conference and customer to customer, and basically you're just earning miles, so to speak.
Okay, the last position, program manager. Well, it's not difficult to define what the program manager does. It manages projects which are forming the programs. Simple thing. No, it's not true. The honest answer will be the PM is someone who delivers the products and experiences that the customer deliver the products with the experience for the customers, and the customers love those products and use those products. Does he code? No. Does he produce those products? Not at all. But at Microsoft, in many other technical companies, when you will talk with program manager, usually they are trying to tackle a business problem. Sometimes they work with marketing, sales, sometimes with other teams to really solve a big customer issues. And the big customer issues, this is important because you have to cut things out. You cannot do everything, and you have to prioritize. If you will work with AWS Program Manager, they will tell you, we have to think how much features we can get out of the $1. $1 meaning $1. And this is the measure how we can impact the world with our products. And this is how the program manager behaves. Working on bigger ideas and delivering them to the market. But okay, let's try to figure out what are the archetypes. So
basically, this is a bit of a cheat sheet. There is a book called Staff Engineer, and if you want to check what are the archetypes of those tech leaderships, you can go there, and basically there's a really nice presentation of what is typical time spent on the different types for those archetypes. Like, what is the time spent for tech lead, architect, solver, or right hand, how it's defined. Like, what kind of the task you will be doing, working with the teams, coding, spending time on solving the issues. So if you're not sure how you want to, which role you want to take, you can go to this book and basically look at this timesheet. It's really accurate about it.
Okay, and you have to choose wisely, because each of those roles have different level of impact. You will have different roles, different tasks, different responsibilities. You will, they are different because some of them are more individual contributors, and some of them are tech leaders. And it has to fit to your skills. Doing something which you don't like or you hate, it's the worst thing you can do. And the other thing you have to think of when you go through those roles is, will you feel okay with doing all those things which are, part of that role? And how this role is defined in organization? Because you may find that each of those roles is differently defined in different orgs you have out there. Okay, so let's move on to the other topic, lessons learned. That will be fun. Okay, so let's go through the things we have learned together or separately in a hard way by, screwing different things. Okay, that's another thing. So the first thing, when you watch American movies, you see people who do great career overnight. The startup started yesterday, and the next day, they are doing the IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. Sorry, this is not the way it goes. There are no shortcuts. Okay, there are some people out there who are Lionel Messi, who are, Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe Roger Federer, who made their career when they were 18 years old. So Roger Federer was playing his biggest tennis tournaments when he was 17 or 18 years old. But come on, not everyone is Roger Federer. So there is no overnight success, and there is no shortcut.
And the thing is that when you are taking those roles, so typically this is presented as a promotion, and that's bullshit, because actually what you're getting a new job, which is completely different from whatever you're doing, and the truth is that you suck at it. I mean, you don't know how to be a CTO, you don't know how to be VP of engineering. Somebody will hire you for whatever task and skill they think you have. And the thing is that the only way to basically start it is to admit that I don't know, and ask others, read books, find peers, and basically ask them what they have failed, what they have learned over the years. And that's actually the best way you can be successful in this job. And especially in our country, people think there is a shame in asking others and saying, I don't know. And that's not true. In those roles, going there and saying, yes, I'm a CTO of this company, I don't know what to do. And that's fine. And basically, you should do it because that will boost your career.
And it very well connects with my next statement. So basics are super important. Okay, I'm an old guy. I am almost 40, and I became a program manager. Do I understand everything about program management? No, not at all. So it's great to understand what your role is all about, what are your responsibilities, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and you still have to remember that it's not the same as you being a consultant or architect. Those roles, which I also did, may help me, but this is not the same. I'm in a different position, I have to do different things and stop doing lots of things which I've done in the past. And the faster you understand what is the core of your role, the faster you can be successful in it. It's not an easy path.
And also what you need to do is to set and manage the expectations, and don't assume. I mean, don't assume that people know what you are doing, and don't assume that you know what other people are doing. Basically, talk with them, ask them what they expect from you, and tell them what you are going to do. Because my most miserable time as being CTO was when my CEO set expectations, and his expectations were in the list of the bullets, what he expects, and I made my assumption what he understands by those bullets. And we had 6 months of very miserable time because we didn't spoke to each other. So basically, set expectations, tell the organization what you are going to deliver, and remember, 99% of problems is about communication. Somebody understands something different than you said. So make sure that whatever you are saying and saying that I will do X, the other part understands what X is.
So my next statement is data is a key in the complex world. Let me tell you the story. Yesterday I had a session with my whole team, and I did some analysis about some feature we are lacking in some of the projects we are doing across the regions all around the world. And I was super excited because I've created my super report, which was showing, this single feature, we are getting $104 million a year just from this feature. So I thought, yeah, $100 million sounds like a lot. Sounds like a lot to found a team who will do that in the next semester of our planning. And the person who was working with me said, you know, Michał, this $100 we are making a year. And those regions we are talking about are making $1 billion per month. Do you still think it's important? That was Onet's question. So if you understand the broader concept, if you cannot prove your ideas through the data, if you cannot prove your ideas through the market research, as Tomek was saying, if you cannot, get any type of, credibility from external sources above your brain.
Not Gartner.
Sorry?
Not Gartner.
Yeah. Any Gartner people from in here? No, okay, cool.
Sorry.
But anyway, if you cannot prove yourself by some data, probably your opinion is just an opinion and assumption. That's it.
And the hardest thing, you need to challenge your own assumption. So basically, the hardest question you need to ask every time is, what if I'm wrong? Or what I don't know? If somebody is doing something, you assume they are wrong. No, you don't know something. You don't know why they are doing it. You basically need to stop and ask yourself, like, what if I'm wrong? Like, if Piotr was doing the great architecture session, if you will go right now to any CTO, you will ask them how to do application, 99% of them will say Kubernetes. Then you will ask them why, because everybody are doing that. Yeah? And that's the truth. So the hardest thing is actually asking yourself why I might be wrong, and then building from that. And actually, the biggest trap you might fall into is to build a story to justify your opinion. You might have an opinion, which is not like a fact, it's your opinion, and then you will build a story which will beautifully explain why this opinion is right. And then you will drive your business on doing that. And that's really a dangerous trap. And what you need to learn as well is basically to speak up and manage up. What I mean by that, don't assume, especially at the early stage of a career, that somebody will notice that you did some great thing. Basically, you need to make it known that you did something, and you need to deliver this message, what you did, to your organization. It's not about bragging, but it's all about making people aware what you are doing, what you are delivering. And don't assume that people will basically, and the world will notice it. You need to manage how people are perceiving you.
Another thing, failure is a part of the job. If you are in a leadership position, failure is a part of the job. We may say that individual contributors are paid by actions. Leaders are paid by decisions, not actions. The outcome is important. The output has nothing to do with the outcome. I know in Polish it's not that simple to differentiate outcome from output, but yeah,
in Polish, nothing is simple.
Yeah, in Polish, nothing is simple. English doesn't help. So I had to learn this by myself. So I became a CEO. Great. My LinkedIn was red with notifications and congratulations. Superb. Was I happy? No, I was petrified like a shit. I didn't know anything about being a CEO. Really. I was made to be with people, talk with people, do a consulting job, do the architecture, but not being a CEO. So I have to learn very, very fast that I will fail many times. I will don't know what to do. Those failures will be pretty harsh. You start your perfect day. It's 9 a.m. in the morning. You have your first coffee, and the thing you hear at this early morning is that someone is going away because they've paid you more. After the next 2 hours of having a workshop, the customer is calling that he's not satisfied with the timelines. And many of those things will come eventually to you if you are a CEO of a small company. So you will fail many times, those failures will be harsh, and either you will make it as a part of your job, move along and learn from those failures, or you will really fail. You will not be able to do that job anymore. And the last part, we always see those beautiful YouTube sessions with Steve Jobs, Mark Rusinowicz, Satya Nadella, Troy Hunt, whoever you like. And you may think that a great leader has to be an extrovert. It has to be a stage animal on the conference. Not at all. They don't have to be great speakers. They don't have to be great stars. We have depth relationship roles for that. So it's not something which you have to be a leader, really. And to add something to that, in many cases, is more listening, is more asking than talking, and taking the decisions when the right time comes, and not the other way. If you are the smartest person in the room, if you know all the answers, and if you're not hearing to other people, probably you are not a leader. You are still the individual contributor who is trying to show how big ego you have. So either you can listen and make the decisions when the time is right, and make the ownership of that decision and all the good, bad things which will happen if the decision is bad, or you are not a leader.
But the three most important things you need to basically learn is read, write, and talk. And somebody said, better to start early and learn them, because reading, writing, and talking to people is important for you to convey the decisions and basically communicate it. It's when you have a good idea and then you are not able to tell people in a consistent way why this idea is good, why it will be good for a business, you will actually fail. So those three skills are actually crucial later in your career. If you are not doing it, start to learn how to write consistently and in a clear way. Actually, yesterday, somebody asked on the social media, can we do a session about how to write a clear emails, because that's a trouble in organizations. So those three skills is something you need to start to learn early, and look at what you are doing and basically try to improve. Ask others or read about it.
And at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. I did many bad things about taking care about myself. And you see the effect, right? With every cloud, then I'm bigger. But that's my story, sorry. But I've heard a great piece of advice from my boss. What you can do if you have the reorg in the org, you have to sleep well, eat well, and exercise well. Because in those times, in the times when the changes are coming, the only good asset you can have is your bright mind and is your readiness to make good decisions. To make good decisions, you have to sleep well, exercise well, and eat well. And there is nothing more you can do when you want to grow, really.
Just to second this, I borrowed a slide from my previous presentation. Basically, move, that's my marathon from a couple of years ago. Right now, I do better. Sleep, that's my actually sleep time. Typically, I sleep like 8 hours per day. And basically, limit your intake of pizza. That's me plus 20 kilograms a couple of years ago. Yeah? So basically, if you are not doing it, believe me, this thing is the single thing which helped me basically better perform in the job. And I'm keeping like 7-8 hours sleep per day. If I want to do something in the evening, I'm putting it down. I wake up in the morning, I do it. Believe me, that will help you a lot.
Actually, this brings me to the other conclusion. If you still every single day for the last 4 years had more job that you have time to do, either you are taking too much or you cannot prioritize.
Typically, you are taking too much.
You are taking too much and not prioritizing at the same time. Of course, everything is important, but there are things which are really important and those where nothing will happen if you leave them. Actually, what is the statement in Polish? If you leave some problem for long enough, probably someone will resolve it, It will resolve by itself, right? You know the idea. Okay. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move about good, bad, and ugly of those roles. So, you won't be the smartest person in the room. I mean, typically when you are in a technology, so you are building your persona on knowing stuff and on doing stuff. And actually, in the tech leadership role, you don't know anymore. And it's not your job to know anymore. It's actually your job is to help people who knows to do stuff. And the worst thing you can do is basically to go into the room with your people and basically tell them what to do. Why? Because they will stop thinking and they will think their idea are worse. So one thing you need to learn is talking last on those meetings, but what I observed over the years is that for people who are stepping in those roles, the biggest challenge, and I had it myself, is to stop being the smartest person in the room because we like it so much. And actually, you have to admit that it's fine to don't know. And that is something you will have to overcome when you are in these roles.
And asking for help and the guidance is not something. It's not showing that you are weak. It's either showing that you are thinking in the broader sense. And I'm talking about that because in some of those roles, you are making the impact on many people with whom you are not working on a daily basis sometimes. So asking others' opinion, taking others' opinion into consideration, helps you to make better decisions which have the broader impact. It's not easy because, as Tomek said, we always think we know the best. It's no longer the truth. And remember, being at the top is a bit alone. So sometimes you don't get the signals from some people who are, a bit lower in the org, right?
And actually, that's the point. It is lonely at the top, this is a saying, but actually, when you are stepping into those roles, especially in the larger organizations, you will not get invited for beers. And if you will get invited, you will have to tell that you have another job to do. And basically, your interaction and dynamics with the teams will change, or it has to change. Why? Because you start to think about the dynamics of the organization. And when you're in this role, you grow up the team, it's really hard sometimes to let it go. And of course, you can go and have a party, but actually you always have to think like what impact it will have on the broader organization. Will somebody see it as a favor to this team or the other team? And I know it is like sounding nasty, but that's the reality. You have to think about it, be very conscious about it.
I remember one of my bosses who said to me, you should invite me to that meeting. Then it will, what was the statement? It will increase the importance of that meeting. Anyway, done is better than perfect in many ways. So we as the engineers strive for perfection, which is great. But in the fast-changing world, perfection sometimes, you are so focused on being perfect that you lose the broader sense or you lose the goal why you are doing that. I was working on a couple of slides about those $100 million for a couple of hours. Probably, just by checking those $100 million with some other numbers, I would kill that task after an hour. That's what I'm saying that's why I'm saying done is better than perfect in many occasions, because it turned out that you don't have to do so many things to move the things forward. And this is how it is. I know, it's not an easy way, but for example, let me give you another example. You think, okay, my HR processes sucks. I want to make them better. And then you hire someone who shows you the beautiful processes, but you're not ready for those. Start with things and move the things forward instead of doing everything in the perfect way from the very first day. And another thing, as I said, being a leader is about making decisions, good or bad. Come on. It's just the part of the job. Stress is the part of the job. A lot of stress. I would say the stress management is the second most important thing you can do for yourself. As said, drink well, sleep well, you remember that. But you have to manage the stress somehow. I'm not saying if you can manage the stress, you will not feel the stress. No. It's not that way. You will still feel it, but you can do some stuff to unwind. You can do some stuff to not to feel stressful, and not by drinking another beer or another scotch in the evening, right? This doesn't solve your stress. It actually increases that part. So being responsible and taking those decisions and taking the stress, yes, this is also a part of the job.
And with this, there is a truth, which is not that nice, but actually the buck stops here. So basically, if you are taking a position of a CTO or VP of engineering, there will be a moment that you will have to make a call, and you will ask everybody, like you will ask your CEO, you will ask financial guy, CFO, and they will say, I don't know, make a call. And then you are expected to make this call. And basically, nobody will help you. You will have to make this call, whatever hard it is, then live up to consequences and manage it. And this is something you basically need to admit, that there will be a moment that everybody will stare at you and you have to make this call. That's not an easy job.
Okay, so what we have learned, or we have to learn when you want to do this thing. So first of all is about delegation and feedback. So yes, you have to delegate, you have to you have to strive for getting feedback for the things you've done. Delegation is not easy, I can tell you. I failed many times with that. As a CEO, I was doing a number of things, different things, and I was failing with delegation. But either you can delegate, you can express your expectations to others, or you will fail. You will have too many things, and those people will feel that they don't have any tasks to do.
And feedback. And this is what I'm telling to my teams. Some of them are here, and they might have heard it already. We have a company of 400 people across different countries, and I always repeat that if it comes to feedback, we are all Poles, for those who are from Poland. And we don't know a shit about giving a feedback, basically. We are not learned of it. And what is even worse is from the very early on, our feedback is negative. You are expected to have 5, and 5 minus is actually negative feedback. What we are going there to do, we are going to the work, and what we are giving is only negative feedback. We are never telling people the positive things. And then, good job is not a feedback. Good job really is not a feedback. It's like your expression opinion. If you want to give a feedback, that has to be concrete. Like, you have to tell them what they need to start doing, stop doing, and what they can basically think about doing. And that's hard. Why? Because of a culture we have, we perceive feedback as something negative, and it's not. And by the way, feedback is not something you need to act on. You might just receive it and then basically ignore. But if you are not doing it, you have to start to learn how to give feedback to the other people.
And you have to cooperate with other teams. Remember, cooperating across different teams is hard because those teams don't know what to do with you. You are coming from engineering and you want to talk with the marketing people and they are asking you questions. Why do you want to impose something on us? Why do you want something from us? We have all the materials for the cooperation. Why do you saying this is wrong? Sorry?
Give us budget.
Give us budget. Oh yeah, this is another stuff. Give us budget. So working with other teams is harsh because you have to understand their priorities, you have to understand their goals, you have to align somehow their goals with your goals. And sometimes those goals doesn't match at all, even at the same corporation. You can ask me about that. If I go to finance team, the finance team is all about making more money, spending less money. My job is to scaling the data center, so I'm all about spending money. Come on, we have different goals. This is how it works. Another one, prioritization. Yes, as a leader, you will have lots on your plate. Everything will be on your plate. From HR, marketing, sales, delivery, whatever you like. Investor who is coming. The question is, what is the priority for you and what tasks will make this company better or will develop this company further? Sometimes you will have to say no. And actually, being in that position is more about saying no than yes, in many cases. You have to prioritize. And you have to think what things you will start doing and what things you will stop doing. You will not do everything.
You need to learn to communicate. And writing an email is not communication. Slack is not a communication. It's a question about, do you know how to deliver the message to a specific person, when you are doing, and in what form you are doing. If somebody is task-oriented, I work with the guys who are really task-oriented. I mean, they want to know what to do. And then you write this lengthy email, they will not read it at all. And they will basically delete it. Believe me, they are just, okay, is there anything for me to do here? No. How long it will take me to read this email? 1 minute, trash. You need to know how to communicate with the specific people. There are tools which will help you to identify who is task-oriented, who is more like a story-oriented, who is more inclined to read the numbers. And basically, you need to get to know it. You also need to get to know how to read the room, like who is calling the shots in the room. Like, what is the current dynamics? Should I attack basically this person, or should I listen to this person? Who is basically a stakeholders? You need to learn it. That's a skill. There are books and trainings which can help you with it. You need to learn how to rely on others. So as I said, you are not the smartest person in the room. You need to take accountability. If it will fail, that's your fault. But the job is being done by other people. And to do this, you need to build a rapport. You need to trust those guys that if they are saying they will do it, they will do it. And you have zero chance to control what they are doing, or you should not. And basically, you need to trust them. And in the end, as I said, the buck stops here. If they will fail on whatever task, it's your accountability. You take it. You are not saying this guy failed to deploy whatever, which probably is Kubernetes cluster. But it's your accountability in the end. And what is really important is taking ownership. There will be a situation that you will be sitting in the room and somebody will ask, who is going to do it? And then you basically need to raise a hand and say, I'm going to do it. All the other guys will assume that you will do it, and basically nobody will tell you how to do it, what to do. Basically, they will expect that in the month you will get back and you will say, it's done. And there is no winning, whatever. It's basically people expect at this level that you are getting shit done, really. And that's a skill also to be learned.
Okay, so now what? You've heard all of that. And which path? Oh, excuse me. This is how you have to clickers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which path you want to take? I don't know. I don't have the answer for you. You have to make this answer by yourself. You have to decide and take the responsibility. Either you want to develop yourself in the individual contributor role, or maybe you want to talk with customers. You want to design solutions. You maybe want to do program management, being a CTO, whatever. But still, then you will have to do completely different things from what you are doing right now. And we have some help for you. But of course, this set of books will not make you a leader. Come on.
Yeah, but if you want to get to know more about how it is on those roles, what is expected, what is the job definition, so there is a staff engineer, really good book. There is the manager's path. I recommend it to every person who is stepping into any kind of leadership position, like team leader, development lead, whatever. Actually, it's written by the girl who went from developer to being a CTO of Run the Runway. And from my side, also an elegant puzzle. So this is how to organize the teams, what is the dynamic in the teams, and a few other tips on engineering leadership.
This Andrew Groove book, it's a pretty old one, really. He was the CEO of the Intel. But it's great. If you really want to understand how the big corporation works, and you want to understand how they are organized, please read that book. Andrew is great in explaining complicated things in a simple way. For example, he says, one of my employees said, he hates Intel because we have so many processes, and I have to socialize my ideas to make a decision. We go one way or the other. So this person was fired himself. He went to the other organization, and it was super happy because at first he said, I was the one who was making the decision, and all the people were allowed to make the decision in the name of the company. After 2 weeks, he came back. No one could make any decision together because all the people were making their own decisions. So if you really want to understand how the big orgs are working, especially from the northwest US part from northeastern part of United States, read this one. Nonviolent communication, another one. It's all about how you communicate with leaders, with peers, with people in a nonviolent way. It's all about taking your ego on your back and really communicate instead of, telling people what to do.
And a shameless plug, I'm running something which is called CTO Morning Coffee. Every 2 weeks we are meeting with a few other guys, and basically we are talking about tech leadership. And believe it or not, we are talking this Friday about being a salesperson in a tech leadership role. So no technology there, by the way, so don't expect anything around technology. Maybe some opinions, sometimes strong one, but we are talking about being a tech leadership. You can sign up on CTO Morning Coffee for notifications, but basically go to the Twitter and you will find it.
And the last piece, we haven't told you what to do. We haven't told you which path you should take. What we have told you is how our paths look like and what we have learned, where we have failed. So now your job is to do what you think is the best for you. Is to take the pill, choose the pill, and decide what you want to do. And if you really want to go into those leadership roles, lots of you have spent many hours reading technical books, working with the code, working with the technology. If you want to be a leader, you have to probably spend even more time, but not with the code, but with people, communicating to that people, failing with those people, debugging those people, and learning from this. Not an easy task. You can debug the same program many times. With people, it doesn't work that way.
And actually, one comment from my side, if you will decide to try it, there is no shame in failing. I mean, typically, people consider it if they will go for CTO, VP of engineering, and they will get fired, or they will decide go back to developer work. That's a failure. No, you just took a different job. Maybe you don't like it. You go there. You are saying, no, it's not for me. There is no shame in it.
Marek Drop asked me a question. Michał, have you been a good CEO of Onyszko? I said, no. I was the bad one. But did we have another one to take this position at that time or when the company was developing? Probably not. So I was the best for the time of being, in the company. But was I a good CEO? Not at all. Not at all.
Again, I use this quote a lot. All models are wrong, but some are useful. So whatever we said is based on our experience. And if you will talk with a few other guys here, they probably might have something else. So assume that it might be a difference, but maybe what we said just will be helpful. Now it's the time to ask questions if you have any.
And now it's time for beer and food because they're already waiting for us. So you choose.